Hey y'all, my name is Kimberly and I had gastric sleeve 4 years ago and I lost a total of 160 pounds. But that wasn't always easy and I've regained some, I've lost some more, I've regained some more. So what I want to talk today about is regain after bariatric surgery. Regain. It's a word that I hate and it's something I don't think when you first have bariatric surgery that you're even thinking about, because when you first go through the procedure, when you're first thinking about having it and then you're actually going through it and losing weight like crazy, it's the last thing on your mind because you are just dropping weight like crazy. But there will come a time after you have lost maybe all of your weight or a good portion of your weight where you're going to hit a stall. And you will have two choices. You will have the choice to continue down and stay disciplined and continue on the path of either losing weight or maintaining, or you're going to go down the path of regaining. And today I want to talk about my experience of unfortunately going down that path where I regained some. I think regain can be very confusing for people because a lot of times people think that you had bariatric surgery, you should be able to lose weight and just keep it off. How can you even eat? And the thing is that it's with any weight loss, whether it's through bariatric surgery or through doing it through other ways, you have the risk of regain. And that just is natural because your body is going to get used to a certain way of living. Unfortunately, I've gained about 20 pounds back from my entire 160 pound weight loss. And honestly, it's not a surprise to me because I started putting things back into my diet that I shouldn't have put back in. Things like soda should never be put back into your diet after bariatric surgery. And, high sugar things like that. It's just a no-no and you shouldn't put them back in. And the further out you get from surgery, it's easier to put those things back in your diet. So the best piece of advice that I can give you is that during that first year where your weight loss is at its strongest, where you are dropping like crazy and where you probably aren't as tempted because you don't experience those hunger pains, control your mind, because this first year after bariatric surgery is when it is the most critical time for you to develop new healthy habits with food. As you get further out with your journey, you're going to be tempted more and you're probably going to be hungrier because the further out you get, you kind of lose that whole not being as hungry as often. So it's going to be easier to sneak things into your diet. And if you have spent the time during that first year training your mind and training the way that you look at food, it'll be easier for you to just say no and not put those foods back into your diet. The good thing is that regain is not the end of the world. If you regain a little bit, maybe it's just, a couple pounds, maybe it is 20 pounds, maybe it's 50 pounds, you can come back from it because now you've seen what you need to do to lose it. And it will be harder the further out you get to actually lose that again, but it is still possible. And you know the foods that you need to be avoiding. You know how you should be portioning out things in terms of protein and vegetables and carbs and what that balance needs to be. You know what to do. You decided to invest in this surgery. I know you've done your research and you know what you need to do. But what you're missing is the follow through. You need to stick to it and get back on track. Just because you've regained a little bit does not mean you are going to be gaining 100 pounds, 200 pounds. You've got to catch it now. I don't want to make this video to scare you guys and make you think like, oh, there's no point to have a procedure done. Because in my case, I know that that surgery was the best decision I ever made for myself. I needed to have gastric sleeve. I would not be where I am today without it. However, you have to remember that it is just a tool. It is not going to fix this for you, and just because you had bariatric surgery does not mean you are ever going to maintain that weight. You have to put work into this. You have to put effort into it or you will regain your weight back. If you start putting those old habits back in, you're gonna gain the weight back. So focus on why you did this, put the effort in, don't rely on the sleeve or bypass or whatever bariatric procedure you had to do all of the work for you. You have to do all of the work, all of it. Put that effort into it and focus. You can come back from regain. Remember that. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of this journey for you. It's just part of the journey. And it's part of just figuring out who you are, and it's part of figuring out why you're going through that. Some of the hardest times in my life, I've realized that that's when I'm regaining, and it's caused me to evaluate my life and evaluate why I'm putting these healthy habits back in. And through that hard time, I have come out a stronger person. So just remember, this is part of the journey. It's part of this whole procedure, and you're going to be okay, but focus on what's causing that regain. What are you putting back in your life? Did you put some more sugar in that you shouldn't have put in? Did you stop working out? What's going on to cause that regain? If you start focusing on that, start taking notes, start journaling what you're eating, start journaling what you're doing in terms of exercise. And if something is different, evaluate that and change it. It's that easy. Be honest with yourself about the goals that you had set when you decided to have this surgery. And if you know you're doing something that's causing that regain, be honest with yourself and don't try to lie about it. Don't try to avoid the scale or, go get new clothes because your clothes are fitting differently and you just want to ignore the problem. Don't ignore the problem, because if you keep ignoring it, you're going to end back up in those 300, 400, 500 pounds, however heavy you first were when you had this procedure. So be honest with yourself and set goals that you know you can achieve and get back on track. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you follow Barry Meltz on Instagram. And if you have a success story with your weight loss journey, send them an email, because we love hearing about all the amazing stories out there. Thank you guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye.